When most people think of analyzing trends for a business, they often think of looking at the profit from year to year. But there's so much more that can identify a trend, and there's so much more that can be looked into and read into by identifying those trends to gauge future performance, and particularly if there's going to be changes in the industry as a whole. And with AI, you can actually use the tools to analyze an organization's performance as a whole over many years, because it can find all sorts of information out very, very quickly, very easily, and put it all together. So if you're looking for an organization, rather than just looking at its financial statements, you can look at the sector's performance, at the specific company's operational performance, its risk management performance, whatever it may be, over a huge period. And it will then analyze that, summarize that, and give you an indication of what that may mean for the future of the business. So if you want to improve your efficiency and ability to analyze trends of industries, analyze trends of companies, then keep watching this video, as we're going to take you through how you can use AI to help you.
When looking at a financial statement and looking at an annual report for an organization, in this particular example, I'm using Tesco's, it's important to understand the qualitative aspects just as much as it is the quantitative aspects. So rather than just only looking at the financial statements and just looking at whether they've made more money, whether they've generated more profit, etc. over the last year, it's important to understand the general trends within the industry. And there's a lot of insights in the annual reports of these organizations relating to their operations, relating to changes in the industry, environmental impact, that sort of thing. And we can use AI to pull out that information and to identify those trends, and also to analyze those trends to see the reasons why and what it might mean for the future. And of course, we've got 240 pages here, and it's all split up into different sections, and there's lots of information that crosses over. So we don't necessarily want to sift through 240 pages of content. But we can use AI to analyze the document, to pick out specific key trends within the industry, whether that be financial trends, market trends, environmental trends, whatever it may be, and to analyze why that is the case and what that may mean for the future. So, of course, you could do this yourself, but you don't necessarily want to have to sift through 240 pages, particularly if you were going to analyze this. You were going to analyze Sainsbury's and Morrison's and Waitrose and Marks and Spencer's, all have got 200 odd pages of annual reports. You can use AI to do this quickly and effectively. So I'm just going to switch over to GPT now. And what you can see is that I have pre-prepared a prompt that's going to create a prompt. So rather than just sticking the Tesco's annual report into this and saying analyze it, I want to ask GPT what it needs to know in order for me to get what I want out of it. Rather than just saying analyze this report, I need to be specific and say, what would you need to be asked to give me a detailed prompt of all the trends of the last 5 years, analyzing those trends, insights into the reasons why, and what it means for the future. Prompting is very, very important with AI. It's a bit like a calculator. You've probably heard the trend with calculators or Excel that it's garbage in, garbage out. And in a sense, if you don't ask it the right things, it's not going to give you the right result. But you can actually use it to tell you what you need to ask it. So that's a key tip there. So it's now giving us a prompt, and it's going into great detail of what we need to ask it. And of course, the more detail we can provide, the more we can get from it. So what we can now do is copy all of this, post this into the box, go get the link for the report, Just post that in there and ask it to analyze all that information. So you can see it's now going to read and extract key information here. It's talking about its revenue growth, it's talking about its profitability increase, talking about its financial levels, its debt levels, maintaining a robust financial position, etc. And this is all great as a highlight. It's giving us information there about the future outlook, about its potential opportunities. But maybe we want a little bit more information. It's just giving us a high-level results at the moment. Perhaps we want to find out more about its operational market trends. Perhaps we want to know more about the key drivers for change. So what we might do is we say, that's great. Please provide more depth and detail around operational and market trends for the next 5 years, for the past 5 years. And also the growth drivers. Please thoroughly and explain your reasoning. Just misspelled there. And now we can see it's giving us even more information. It's also expanding on the report, finding key statistics, which we can double check. So again, if we want to be sure that the information is correct, we of course need to check that it's compliant, to check that it is accurate information. But it's giving us a lot more detail now on growth drivers. It's giving us an explanation as to where it's got this information from. It's built on that, and we can keep continually going back and say, looking at the digital transformation, e-commerce, we can ask it to review the document again specifically about digital transformation and e-commerce and explain the trends over the last few years, what Tesco's plans are for the future, providing more information, more statistics, etc. And by the time we've done that a few times, we're going to have pages and pages of really broken down, detailed information pulled out of that report and from other sources relating to Tesco's. All very, very quick, very, very easy to do, and saves us having to read through 200 odd pages of information. And also it does a lot of the cross-referencing for us as well. So whereas we might find information on page 117, it actually then also relates to further information on page 139. But of course the AI is doing all of that for us. And again, you could do all this yourself. AI is not going to do your job for you, but it's a very, very useful tool to help us to do our job more efficiently.